You ever get a letter so ridiculous you think for a split second you must be on some hidden camera show? Because that's how my week started. Picture this gold foiled envelope, fake wax seal, some grand title about an executive council. Like, who writes this stuff? Shakespeare's evil twin. Anyway, they tried to tell me and my family we had to stay locked inside our own home for 3 days for the sake of security and discretion. Of what you ask, their precious illusion of control. Newsflash, we're not even in their damn HOA. Never have been. Never will be. But that didn't stop them from turning a warning into a full-blown siege, and buddy, they picked the wrong landowner to mess with. It all started while I was bolting down the last rack for our solar array, sweat-dripping sun coming up. Jess, my wife comes out holding this fat envelope, waving it like she'd caught a venomous snake. You gotta see this crap, she says. I wipe my hands, take it, and right away it's heavy. Too heavy for just some letter. My name address, some seal stamped in the corner. Silverbrook Reserve Executive HOA Council. I snorted. We don't live in Silverbrook. Sure, our land bumps up next to their little slice of Stepford, but our driveway doesn't even touch their circle drive. We got our own road, our own well batteries, even satellite for TV. Off-grid by choice. The only thing I ever borrowed from Silverbrook was a bit of shade. Inside the envelope, cardstock so thick it could stop a bullet. I read it out loud, giving my best dramatic King's proclamation. To all residents in proximity to Silverbrook Reserve, due to the arrival of high-profile international guests, you are required to remain within your home for 72 hours, starting Friday, 6:01 a.m. I'm not kidding. They wanted us quarantined. For security. Thanks for your cooperation. Signed, Karen. Yes, actually. I couldn't help but laugh. Jess didn't. She stared at me like I'd just brought home a live raccoon. Did we get sucked into their HOA? She asked. I shook my head. Nope. I checked when we bought the place. We're excluded. Only reason I signed. No one tells me what color mailbox to buy. She still frowned, chewing it over. So why send this? No clue. Maybe they figure if you say something in cursive and add gold, people will obey. Or maybe they think they own the air too. If you're a parent, you know that little shot of dread when you see your kids playing outside and suddenly worry you're missing some big dangerous rule change. That's where my head went. So just to cover my bases, I called the number at the bottom of the letter. Got a voicemail so pretentious, it sounded like it was recorded inside a wine cellar. Something about exclusive living community standards, respecting collective boundaries. I left a message asking exactly what kind of dictatorship they thought they were running out there. 2 hours later, I get an email with a glossy PDF of a map. Not just Silverbrook, no, they outlined my property too, like their HO. A boarders had eaten my land for breakfast. Jess leaned in over my shoulder. Are they allowed to do that? They're allowed to hallucinate, apparently. We stared at that map together, shaking our heads. So what are we doing? Friday, she asked. Same thing we planned, packing up, heading to Wildwood, letting the kids swim, maybe grilling some hot dogs. You think they'll try to stop us? I shrugged. They can try. Won't be a good day for them. I tossed the letter on the table and went back outside, thinking that was it. But the more I replayed that gold-embossed arrogance, the more it ate at me. Jess called it HOA menopause, when control freaks hit their peak and start acting like they own the planet. Friday could not come fast enough. Friday, I'm up before sunrise making coffee, checking our solar logs. Jess is herding kids and lunch stuff into the truck. It's a perfect morning. Sky clear, a little breeze, kids half-dressed and wrestling over who gets the window seat. At 6:05, we pile into the truck. I hit the garage button, the door rolls up, and there's a black SUV parked sideways across our drive. Not a cop car, no plates, just mean looking. Two guys in blue shirts, silver patches on the sleeves, Silverbrook Reserve Enforcement Division. Yeah, I know. I roll down the window. One of them buzz cut sunglasses at sunrise, comes toward me holding a clipboard like it's a badge. His buddy's by Jess's door, arms crossed. Morning, I say. Morning, sir, he says, all fake, polite. I'm going to have to ask you to remain at your residence for the next 72 hours. Jess leans across me. Excuse me? He repeats the line about the restricted movement due to sensitive visitors. I say, appreciate it, but you're blocking my driveway. He comes back with, this is a controlled perimeter. No, this is my land. I snap. I point out the gravel, the culvert, the pine tree, all mine. Jess starts to open her door. That's when the second guy moves fast, blocks her door with his hand. Ma'am, we need you to remain in the vehicle. That's it. Wrong move. He goes for her door handle. I don't even think. Old instincts kick in. I'm out of the truck, grab his wrist, twist, drop him to the gravel. Not hard, just enough to get the message across. Buzzcut moves. I step in elbow up, palm to his chest. He stumbles back, ends up on his ass. You two are lucky I'm in a good mood, I tell them, keeping my voice flat. Jess is dialing 911. I pull out my phone, start recording. My heart's pounding, but my hand is steady. We're calling the sheriff, Jess says. You're not moving until they get here. Buzzcut tries to look tough. You assaulted security personnel. No, I say I protected my wife from people illegally detaining her on private land. You want to press charges? I ask. Here's my lawyer's card. He eats HOA for breakfast. They clam up. 15 minutes later, the sheriff rolls up old-timer sunglasses, moves slow. Morning, he says, looking at the circus in my driveway. I tell him everything short. Clear, show the video, the letter, the fraudulent map. He looks at my phone notepad out, but he never writes a word. Here's the deal, Mr. Langston, he says. Slow as molasses. HOA's got some high-profile folks in town. I was told to keep things calm. Calm, I say. I'm not the one who sent goons to my driveway. He wants me to stay home as a gesture of community cooperation. I laugh. Loud. You want me someone who's not even in this HOA to lock my family inside so their guests don't see a truck. He fidgets with his sunglasses. I'm just asking you to consider it. Consider it rejected, I say. This community tried to detain my wife. I'm pressing charges, filing complaints, and sending this story to every news outlet that still has a backbone. Jess steps in, holds up her phone. Want to proofread before we hit send? The sheriff realizes we're not rolling over. He takes down the info, muttering. I film every second just to be sure. He tells the HOA guys to clear out. They do faster than you'd think. We pack up and leave, but that sick feeling in my gut doesn't go anywhere. This wasn't about one weekend. We'd just become the most inconvenient people in someone else's fantasy world. First thing back from Wildwood, I send everything to Marcus. Friend of mine, property law. Nerd loves zoning code more than beer. He calls back voice all serious. They're screwing with the land registry, he says. He'd pulled new filings my land listed as tentative participating parcel in the HOA's next expansion. I never signed a damn thing. They pitched my house, the one I built, as a show home for some foreign investors. My house. The one they tried to lock me in. That night, I start my own war. Upload every document, every video, every bit of evidence. I call a reporter I know, Tina. Loves HOA horror stories. By noon next day, we're at a diner laying it all out. They tried to quarantine you for real estate optics, she asks. Yep. And now your home's a demo lot. Yep. She grins. This is going to burn. I do. One better go public. 10-minute video, just the facts. Slow pan of the guards. The letter everything. Goes viral. Hundreds of messages. Turns out I'm not alone. Some guy in Nevada, fined by an HOA, he's not even in for the crime of visible landscaping. Best part. Former Silverbrook board member emails me. You're not crazy. Start with lot 14. Turns out this is a pattern, not a mistake. Monday, I get a nasty flyer in my mailbox. Community safety or radicalism. Blah, blah, blah. We see you, Mr. Langston. Jess laughs. I don't. Other neighbors start texting. They got the same quarantine letter. Some got in-person visits. It's spreading. Then the drone shows up, hovering over my property. Not wildlife, not a toy. Surveillance. I record, then grab my old signal jammer. Don't ask long story, and down it drops. I bag it, take it to the sheriff file. A report for unauthorized surveillance. Clerk blinks like he's seen a ghost. You got enemies in local government. Not until recently, I tell him. By that night, another neighbor finds a camera hidden in her shed. Someone else spots a white sedan parked outside for hours. Now it's not just me. They're trying to scare all of us. And just to ice the cake, I check my mailbox again. Laminated business card, compliance and coordination specialist, Silverbrook Reserve. Let's talk. No thanks. Jess and I lay in bed, wide awake, listening to the wind and wondering just how far a bunch of suburban wannabe aristocrats will go to protect their illusion. I feel like we're being watched, she whispers. We are, I say. I'm done playing defense. I start building a war book. Names, plates, photos, timestamps. Every little thing. But I can't do this alone. Time to call in the heavy artillery, Carla Ortega, ex-military property law specialist known around here as the HOA Hammer. I dump everything on her desk, drone flyers, footage maps. She doesn't flinch, just gets to work. Within a day, we've got a cease and desist sent to every board member, a class action for trespass, fraud, surveillance, the works. Tina's article drops headline, When the HOA Thinks It's God. By lunch, the whole county's talking about Silverbrook. People crawl out of the woodwork with their own stories. And then the real break. Carla calls. Someone inside Silverbrook flips a paralegal named Aubrey. She's got the receipts, emails, memos, draft brochures, group chat logs. Turns out they knew my land wasn't eligible, that I was hostile to affiliation. They just didn't care. They had a plan, call it silent integration. Make it look like my property was part of Silverbrook so the investors would bite. Perception equals property value, they said. I was a visibility risk. My house, my family. Just an aesthetic narrative blemish. That's what they called it. I posted those logs, names blurred, messages plain as day. People went nuts. Urban planners, lawyers, ex-HOA, board members from other states. The stories poured in, fined for ladders, disability ramps, flag colors. My inbox turned into a support group for HOA survivors. That's when the county prosecutor steps in, subpoenas the HOA's records. Karen, the president, doubles down, sends her legal goons to stand at my property line. They just stand there. I drink coffee on my porch, shotgun on my lap. They take a picture. I wave. I post the picture too. If you're going to threaten me, at least wear better cologne. Hours later, sheriff's cruisers roll up at Silverbrook's office. Files, computers all boxed and tagged. The news breaks. Karen gets perp walked out of her office, sunglasses and lipstick on, like she's auditioning for Desperate Housewives Courtroom Edition. Fraud, coercion, surveillance, obstruction. Jess pops a bottle of cheap champagne. Neighbors bring pie. I finally breathe. Not like someone who's won, but like someone who's seen the sun come up after too many nights awake. 3 weeks for the dust to settle. County kills Silverbrook's expansion. Board members resign in droves. The whole operation falls apart when emails leak. Turns out discouragement protocols weren't a one-time thing. They wanted to harass anyone who wouldn't sell. Didn't work. And the whistleblower Aubrey gets state protection. I made sure her story got told quiet, but right. I spent days walking my land just because I could. It felt lighter somehow, like the storm had cleared out the last bit of fog. I put up a new fence, 12-gauge steel motion sensors. A matte black sign, "This is not HOA," never was. Come back and see what happens. Jess rolled her eyes, but she smiled. We held a cookout. Nothing fancy, just food kids running neighbors who'd found their courage. I gave a short speech, thanked everyone for standing up, for remembering that property doesn't come with strings just because someone else built a gate. By then, people from everywhere were writing to me. Veterans, single moms, folks who'd been fined for basketball hoops or planting the wrong rosebush. I started writing a guide, called it "When Private Power Goes Too Far," a landowner's survival manual. Tina offered to help publish. Within months, the judge signs the final injunction. Silverbrook H, "Oh, a dead, buried, gone." And one morning, I get a letter, official, stamped and certified, my land forever exempt from any future annexation. I pin it on the wall next to a photo of our property and a note from my youngest in crayon. Daddy won, bad neighbors gone. That one I framed. So here's my question for you. Where's the line? When does community become coercion? If someone tried to box you in with gold-foiled letters and fake badges, would you fight back or play along for an easy life? I want to hear your story. Let's see where you draw your boundaries.